long-term brand loyalty to the point where we can stop marketing and we will continue to sustain revenue within our business, whether that's in this case a recurring revenue from software subscriptions, or whether it's a recurring revenue from some sort of some sort of product that you're selling, or even if it's people just coming back and buying from your brand multiple times on each launch that you do. Maybe you've got an e-commerce brand or like a coffee shop, for example. The reason, or the only way to do this really on its most basic level, is we need to understand three things. The first thing is, why did they buy in the first place? What is it that they're looking for from your product? And really, most importantly, did they get it? Then we need to make sure that what exactly is it that we're offering? Are we exceeding their expectations? Are we constantly improving the product? Are we constantly making sure there's a reason for them to come back again? Now, again, if we're looking at recurring subscriptions, there's got to be a continual use case for it. There's got to be a reason they would continue to use that product. If we're looking at like an e-commerce brand, we've got to make sure that we're offering new lines of clothing, for example. We've got to make sure there's new things for them to want, and we've got to make sure that it actually lines up with their interests that they bought, why they bought in the first place. We also need to make sure they're getting good support, because at the end of the day, if someone signs up for your product and they get a bad service, for example, they get really slow shipping times, or they're not able to get in contact with customer service, then this is going to be a big reason for them to leave, especially if they're paying subscription revenue, if they're continuing to pay for your product, especially if they're paying a large amount of money. Now, if this is like a high-level client thing, this could be all the way down to if you have a coffee shop. It could be any level, but the biggest reason people leave is because of quality of service. So how can we make sure we get brand loyalty, and how can we, more importantly, do this and automate it? Because at the end of the day, as business owners, the most important thing that we need to be working on, or that we think we should be working on, is marketing. Whereas reality, product is probably one of the biggest things, because if we can get a customer and retain that customer, then we have a lot longer to work on marketing. So how can we automate the level of quality service? Because we'll be pretty sure that you're going to spend most of your time with marketing. Well, the first thing is, what is causing the biggest problem? And that is most likely the thing that's out of your control, or thing you don't want to spend time on, is this. What do you offer? You're probably already offering new things. You're probably already developing and improving your product. Why did they buy? They've already bought. So this is kind of hand in hand. So you need to make sure that they are, in fact, coming back and consistently purchasing from your store. And how do we do that? How do we make sure that they're getting the correct support? Well, traditionally, if you look at the systems that we have in place most of the time, it is an email account we have, right? And this is like our one contact spot where people can communicate with us. We have social media, people can message us on Instagram or whatever, but at the end of the day, when they message us on Instagram, we will give them an email and say, please email our support. So everything is handled through support. And the biggest problem that we have is when somebody goes to email is they don't feel like they get that level of personal support. They don't feel like they're getting the information that they need. And a lot of people put more weight on personal service than speed. Speed is probably the biggest needle mover, and then personal service is probably the second most important needle mover. And when we're starting a business, we've got a small company, or whether even if we're scaling, ideally we want a solution that scales. We want a solution that's not going to increase its cost as we continue to grow. So this diagram here is what I've sort of drawn. These are things that sort of allow people to make easy decisions. And when you've got an easy decision, it's easier, much quicker customer service, and you don't want people to have to wait hours for a response. So things like, what's the price, where can I track my order, what's the minimum order quantity, what time do you open? Like, these things aren't necessarily going to be exact needle movers in brand loyalty, but if somebody can't get the information that they need, and if they email support, which is what they would do with these questions if they can't find that answers, and if they can't get answers to these questions quickly, then they're not going to stay. Because when they have more complex problems like these, my order never arrived, or I need a refund, or where can I cancel my subscription, people are just going to leave because they know that they're going to get slow response times. And basically what you're saying to them is, I don't care about you as a customer. So if you want to get brand loyalty, you have to care about your customers. So instead of just having one email account to dump everything in, and we can create little folders to put all these emails in to try and categorize them, but it's just quite complicated, and at the same time we've still got to respond to all of these. What if we could actually automate this process? And I'm doing this in a way that I've called, like, it's a gatekeeper, basically, an automated AI gatekeeper for customer service. And it's basically using an AI brain that's trained on every single aspect of your business, so your website, training documents, all of that, It's using all of that information, and it's using a chatbot interface for people to talk to it, which will then feedback to the brain, and the brain will decide whether it's a simple request from the customer or it's a complex issue. And this allows us to basically automate a lot of this process and make sure that the customers who need help, the customers who need human support, are getting that human support, and the customers who just have simple requests are getting responses to those questions. If we're looking for a personal touch, as we scale our company, as we scale our business, we cannot be, if we just look at a graph, right, this is probably the easiest way of describing this. We cannot be consistently having personal conversations with every single customer. So think of it like this, as sort of an exponential. If this is the growth of the business, whether this is the number of customers over time, whatever it is, this is the trajectory. At each step of this process, what you'll find is you'll have one employee who can deal with customers, and they can deal with this level of customers, this number of messages, or whatever you want to call them, support requests. And this, again, like I say, leads back to brand loyalty. Like, if you're not giving them the support, they're not going to buy. So you need to scale your support with traditional systems where you've got your email service, right? So the next thing is, you now move to this level, you now need 2 customer service people, 3 customer service people. And as you start to scale your business and you start to scale your customer support reps, you are creating a very expensive, clunky machine. And although at the start this might only be $2,000 a month, now it becomes $4,000 a month, and then it becomes $6,000 a month. And realistically, at the early stages of a business, if you're not getting a return on that investment, which is very hard to get a return on this investment with just customer support, if you're not getting a return on that investment, this business is just unsustainable. This model is just not sustainable. So what we need is a solution that basically allows us to continue scaling our company, not need to add in multiple new support systems, and at the same time, it's going to allow us, let me just get the green pen back, to retain one level of support system that can manage all of these customers at a very small price for anywhere between $30 to $100. Imagine that. So we've now gone from $6,000 down to $100. So how can we do this? Well, like I say, we're going to use this AI brain. It's going to respond to users' questions using a chatbot that we have on our website. We all know what chatbots are. But the most important thing, and the reason you're not using a chatbot at the moment, is because you're worried about the AI responses. You're worried about it hallucinating or making things up or not dealing with customers in a good way. So we also need a support system which can actually manage support tickets from those customers. We need a way of categorizing those into different, categories that are specific to our business, prioritizing those, and also, quite ideally, we need a solution that's going to be quite quick to deal with, because there's no point having a system like this that's just going to be creating work for more support people in the business. So as long as we don't need to keep on adding in support people, and we can do a lot more support ticketing with less employees, we're in a much better position. So if you head to the link down below in the description, we're going to use ChatIQ to do this. And basically, it's going to allow us to guarantee customer satisfaction instantly. So this is real-time customer support. The easiest way of describing this is, the first one is obviously just having a chatbot on the website. You can see here, these are some conversations I've had. I'll just show you a live example. And these are basically able to answer common, frequently asked questions. So 80% of the problems people have in with your business will be dealt with by this chatbot. But more importantly, if somebody has a more complicated problem, they can then submit a support ticket. And I've done an example on this, but we'll redo one. And you can categorize those support tickets. So for example, if there's an account issue with a subscription, they can put in their details, and then they can get human support. But this still isn't enough. We need to make sure as a company that we are responding to these customers quickly. And to respond to these customers quickly, we need notifications. So within ChatIQ, if you sign up for free, you get a 2-week free trial. You can see here, this is an example support ticket that I put through. This is the this is the email address of the user or the customer who submitted the support ticket. You can see here, if we go to ticket notifications, we can now get notifications of high priority support tickets. So we can set custom notification thresholds. So we only care, for example, about medium or high priority tickets. So medium priority are semi-urgent tickets like product issues and tracking questions, or high priority is refunds and disputes, these sorts of things. So these things are what's going to cause bad brand loyalty. And I know for a fact, having used ChatIQ to deal with customers who use my own software, ChatIQ, I've actually converted people from bad customers, people who wanted to leave, who asked for refunds, into high converting customers, people who pay a lot of money for the software just because of customer support. So if you can make sure that people are getting quick response times, I'll show you an example. If we go to, and let's do this by date. Here we go. So this is an example I put through earlier. You can see here the average response time is 4 minutes. This is how long it took me to get the support ticket. I get a notification on my phone. I can then respond to that support ticket, and I can use an AI to respond to this support ticket. So for example, if we click on reply, we can actually have a pre-generated AI response to that support ticket. We can see the conversation that user or that customer has had with our chatbot, and we can tailor our responses, our support ticketing responses, to that customer and make it as much of a personal experience as possible. And this is essentially a trade-off between personal experiences with customers and also customer support at scale, because at the end of the day we can't be having detailed long conversations with every single customer, but we need a way of making sure the customers who do need that extra support, who will remain loyal if they get that support, make sure that they actually get that support, make sure they're prioritized. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to build a system with ChatIQ. If you click the link down below in the description, you can start a free trial. You've got 14 days to play around with the app. Just put in your card details. It won't charge you for the first 2 weeks, and then after that it's $30 per month to continue using the software. You can scrape your entire website, you can upload PDF files, text, all sorts of things. If you want to see how to use this software, check all the other videos on my YouTube channel. But yeah, the link is down below.